Hey, for locking my family out of my vacation home after they trashed it and ditched me? My name is Emily. I am 32 years old, I work in marketing for a tech company, and I live in Chicago. People think living in the big city is all movement and excitement, but the truth is that sometimes all you want to do is close your laptop and not talk to anyone. My family still lives in Wausau, the same place where I grew up. My brother Nathan lives there with his wife Stephanie and their kids. My sister Abigail also lives there with her husband Chris and their children. My parents, Patricia and Richard, never moved from there. My mom has always been the one who puts everything together, the official organizer. She loves feeling like we all depend on her to be together. My dad has his own business, something small but stable, enough to live peacefully and not go around counting every penny. 3 years ago, I bought a cabin to escape the city. It is near Lake Minocqua, about an hour from Wausau, in a wooded cabin area where the air feels different. It is not huge, but it is cozy and quiet. I go there a couple of times a month when my head is full and I need to breathe. That Tuesday night, I was finishing some reports with tired eyes when my mom called me. "Emily, my love, we have to have a family gathering," she told me with that excitement that comes out when she is planning something. It has been a really long time since we were all together. I tucked my hair behind my ear and sighed. "When are you thinking?" "This weekend on Saturday." "Perfect," she said as if it were already decided. "It will be your dad and me, Nathan with Stephanie and the kids, Abigail with Chris and theirs, and also your Aunt Susan and Uncle David. It is going to be really nice." I had 3 client presentations looming over me, and I was in for a heavy week. Even so, the idea of seeing them sounded good. The last time absolutely all of us had been together was last Christmas. "All right," I told her. "And where do you want to do it?" She paused there like when someone is about to ask for a big favor. "Well, I was thinking we could use your cabin. It is beautiful. There is space and the kids love the lake." "My cabin, my place." "Yes, of course," I replied, because in my head I still had that idea that family is family. "You guys have keys anyway." And yes, I had given keys to my mom, to Nathan, and to Abigail out of trust, out of affection, out of that idea that as long as they respected my space, nothing would happen. They used it even more than I did. Nathan would take it to go fishing with his kids. Abigail would go in the summer, according to her, so the kids could breathe clean air. It did not bother me. The only thing I always asked for was something basic, that they leave everything clean. "You are a sweetheart," my mom told me. "Delighted. I will call everyone right now. It is going to be awesome." I hung up with a warm feeling. I thought, yes, I am overwhelmed, but this is worth it. So I got organized. I kicked into high gear like never before. I stayed up late 3 nights in a row. I finished the presentations ahead of time. I got ahead on the following week's work. I wanted to arrive at the gathering and truly be present without worrying about emails, without checking my cell phone every 5 minutes. On Friday afternoon, I went to the grocery store. I bought breakfast stuff to have there, snacks and a bottle of wine. Well, one of those you do not buy every day. I packed my bag, put in my laptop, chargers and comfortable clothes. I set an alarm for 6 o'clock in the morning because the drive with toll roads and traffic eats up your time. On Saturday, I left early. It was still dark when I got on the interstate. Halfway through the route, I stopped at a roadside rest area. I drank a mediocre coffee, but I needed the caffeine. I felt genuinely excited. I missed seeing my nieces and nephews, hearing the chaos of everyone together, catching up. I arrived around noon. I imagined seeing parked cars, hearing voices, low music, the typical family noise, but no, everything was quiet, too quiet. I thought maybe I was the first one. I grabbed my bags, went up the stairs, and put the key in. The door opened, and as soon as I walked in, my body went cold. The living room looked like a hurricane had passed through. The furniture was moved. There were toys thrown everywhere, dirty plates on the table and on the floor, glasses stuck to the surfaces. On the couch there were stains that looked like juice or wine. On the coffee table, empty bottles and takeout food bags. The smell was a mix of stale alcohol and reheated food. I stood there frozen for a full minute, as if my brain refused to accept what I was seeing. "No, this cannot be," I said softly. I went to the kitchen. Worse. All the dishes I owned, all of them were dirty. The sink was clogged, the trash overflowing with containers, cardboard, napkins. On the counter there was something sticky, like spilled soda that had already dried up and nobody cleaned. And then the realization hit me. The party had already happened. My family had celebrated without me. My hands started shaking when I took out my cell phone. I needed answers. I called my mom first. Because she organized everything, she answered, and I tried to breathe so I would not yell. "Mom, I am at the cabin. What happened here?" There was a pause, as if she were thinking about what to say, and then in a completely casual tone she dropped it on me. "Oh well, we decided not to wait for you. We did it on Thursday night. It was really nice." I blinked, stunned. "What do you mean you did it on Thursday without me?" "It just worked better for most people," she said. "We thought you would understand." "And why did not you let me know?" "Well, it slipped our minds. And look, the cabin was fine when we left." "You are probably overreacting again." "Overreacting?" I was looking at my living room turned into a disaster. "Mom, there are dishes everywhere. The trash is overflowing. There are stains on the furniture." "Oh, it is not a big deal. You always get intense about cleaning." I clenched my jaw. "I am not intense, it is my cabin. I drive for hours to come here. I rearranged my work, I was excited, and I arrived to find this." Her voice hardened. "Emily, honestly, you always make drama. We will have more opportunities to see each other." And she hung up on me. I stood looking at the screen with a weird emptiness in my chest, as if someone had pushed me without warning. I called Nathan. He always sells himself as the responsible one, the one who promises to pick up whatever his kids mess up. He answered in an annoyed tone. "What?" "Nathan, it is Emily. I am at the cabin. It is a disaster." "What did you guys do?" "Oh, that." He let out as if I had asked him the time. "That was Thursday. I cannot right now. I am busy." "What do you need?" "I need to know why my cabin looks like nobody respected it. There are sticky stains. All the dirty dishes. Trash." He laughed. A little mocking laugh. "Oh, Emily, it is not that serious. The kids were playing. We did not have time to leave everything perfect. We had to head back early for work. It is not about leaving it perfect, it is about leaving it decent." "You are exaggerating," he said. And his voice was that of someone talking to a little girl. "It is a mess. You can handle it." I felt heat in my face. "A mess, Nathan, this is. We will talk later." He cut me off. "Not right now." And he hung up on me too. I was already so mad my eyes were burning. I walked around the cabin taking pictures. The living room with the moved furniture, the disgusting kitchen, the bathroom with towels thrown around and toothpaste smeared on the mirror. I took more than 20 photos from all angles so nobody could play surprised. Then I sent them to a group chat with my mom, Nathan, and Abigail with a simple message. "This is what I found. This is what you call being fine." The responses made me want to cry out of anger. My mom saw the message and did not answer anything. Abigail replied with a mockery. "Oh, enough." Nathan put something like, "dramatic." My hand was shaking. To avoid breaking something, I opened Facebook automatically, as if to distract myself. And there I saw what completely broke me. Abigail had posted a picture of my living room 2 days before. My living room full of my family, everyone smiling, holding glasses, as if they were having the best time. My mom laughing with my Aunt Susan, my dad hugging my Uncle David, the kids playing in the background, and the text said something like, "Beautiful gathering with the ones who truly matter." I read it 3 times. Every time it hurt more. The message was crystal clear. I did not sit on the couch with the stain right there as if it were mocking me. And for the first time in years, I allowed myself to look at our dynamics without making excuses for anyone. When was the last time any of them did something for me without expecting something in return? I paid for my mom's car repair last year because we were tight on money. I lent money to Nathan when he was out of work for a bit. I babysat Abigail's kids many times for free because, "I need you to, please." But when I asked for help to move in Chicago, nobody could. When I had emergency appendix surgery, Abigail went to see me and spent the whole visit talking about her problems, without even asking how I felt. And when I got divorced when I was in pieces, my mom said, "Well, oh well, you chose it," as if it were a bureaucratic procedure. Right there, sitting in the middle of their mess, I understood something that turned my stomach. They did not see me as family. They saw me as a resource, as a wallet, as the one who solves things, as the one who pays and lends and provides the place, not as a person. Hours later, I received a message from my mom. Emily, please leave the cabin spotless. Next Saturday is your dad's birthday, and we are going to celebrate it. Some important people from his business are coming and your dad wants to make a good impression. It has to look perfect. I stared at the screen for a long time. She wanted me to clean the filth they left behind, so they could use my cabin again as if it were an event hall. My first reaction was to call her and tell her everything I had been holding in. But something clicked in my head. It was not a pretty idea, it was a cold clarity. I did not answer her. I rolled up my sleeves and started cleaning, not because she ordered me to, but because I could not sleep in that dirt for a single night. Took me 6 hours, 6 large trash bags. I had to scrub the couch to remove the stickiness, mop the floor covered in crumbs, clean bathrooms, wash a mountain of dishes. And while I did it, the plan was putting itself together. They thought they could use my cabin, change plans, leave me out, make fun of me, and I was going to keep smiling. I stayed there that night. Being in silence without demands was weird. It was also a relief. I poured myself a glass of wine and sat on the terrace. Looking at the lake, I took a deep breath, as if my body finally understood it could relax. On Sunday morning, I looked for a locksmith. I got on my phone, found one who worked weekends, and called him. He arrived at noon. An older, kind man. One of those who do their job without getting into your life. You want to change locks and keys? He asked me. Yes, I told him. Everything. While he worked, I got into another matter. My cabin had a security system with cameras and sensors. I had installed it 2 years prior, but I turned it off months ago because my family kept complaining. It makes us uncomfortable, Abigail used to say. We cannot relax. Nathan's kids had triggered the alarm a couple of times, running around as if the cabin were a racetrack. The second time, a whole issue arose with the monitoring center, and a patrol car ended up coming to check. To avoid fights, I turned it off from the app, but that Sunday I turned it all back on. When the locksmith finished, he handed me the new keys. All set, miss, he told me. Thank you, really? I replied and walked him to the door. Afterward, I checked the camera's sensors and notifications. The front entrance camera, the terrace one, the living room one, everything perfect. The system was connected to the monitoring center. If it triggered, the company would be notified, and if necessary, authorities would be requested. I packed my things and headed back to Chicago. The drive back was strange. I was feeling a mix of nerves and excitement that I could not explain. I kept repeating to myself, I am going to see who they really are. And at the same time, it hurt to accept that maybe I already knew. The following days I went about my normal life. Work, gym, shopping, as if nothing had happened. On Wednesday my mom wrote to me again, as if we were talking about a grocery list. Do not forget Saturday and buy a nice gift for your dad. Something around $2,000 minimum. You can do it. He has to look good with his business guests. We will wait for you at the cabin at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. $2,000. An expensive gift for a party at my cabin that I was supposed to host after they left me out and made me clean. I did not answer. Saturday arrived, my dad's birthday. I made myself a quiet breakfast. I put on comfortable clothes and opened my laptop. I logged into the camera app. There was my cabin live, quiet, as if it did not know the storm that was coming. At exactly 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I saw the cars arrive. My parents' sedan, Nathan's SUV, Abigail's family minivan, and a fourth car I did not recognize. Surely the business guests. About 12 people got out in total. My family, my aunt and uncle, and 3 men dressed formally who clearly were not there to hang out with kids. My mom was carrying a cake in a box. The kids were well groomed. My dad was walking with that "today is my day" posture. They walked up to the entrance as if they owned the place. I saw my dad insert the key. He wiggled it, took it out, put it back in. Nothing. I saw him turn to my mom. She tried. Nothing. Nathan stepped up with his. Nothing. Abigail tried. Nothing. They started talking over each other, pointing at the lock, confused. One of the guests checked his watch. The kids were already starting to get restless. Then my mom took out her cell phone, and my phone started ringing. I let it ring several times before answering. Hello, Emily, my mom said with a tight voice. What is going on? We are at your cabin and it will not open. None of the keys work. Did you change the locks? Yes, I answered. Silence. A heavy silence. Why would you do that? She asked as if I had committed a crime. We are all here. Your aunt and uncle are here. Your dad's guests are here. I changed them because I got tired of you guys using my cabin, leaving it a disaster, and then expecting me to clean it, I said without raising my voice. My mom exploded. This is ridiculous. Open it right now. I did not answer. What do you mean no? It is your dad's birthday. You are making us look bad. I heard voices in the background. My dad saying something. My mom put her cell phone on speaker. I knew by the way the sound changed. Everyone is hearing you, Patricia announced. Explain what you are doing. Perfect. That was what I wanted, for it not to be a hidden fight, for it to be heard clearly. I am tired, I said. Tired of being used. Tired of my cabin being your party place and then leaving it a dump. Tired of being treated as if I am only there to pay and shut up. My mom let out a fake laugh. Oh, here we go again. You are exaggerating. Of course we cleaned up. No, I said. You did not clean up. I have pictures of how you left everything. It was disgusting. Nathan's voice chimed in loudly. Look, we are just going to break the door down and that is it. You are not going to ruin this for us. I breathed slowly. The security system is on, Nathan. There are cameras recording. If you try to break in, the alarm goes off and the monitoring center gets notified. It is not in your best interest. There was a murmur and I heard one of the guests say something like, we better go. I continued without rushing. As of today, none of you is invited to my cabin and I am not giving you money anymore. I am not buying expensive gifts anymore just because you order it. I am not going to be available whenever you feel like it. The speakerphone went silent for a second and then my mom got higher-pitched, desperate. You are being ungrateful. Your dad is standing right here. You do not do this. What you do not do, I replied, is change the date of a gathering and not tell me. What you do not do is throw a party in my cabin without me, leave everything dirty, mock me when I complain, and then demand I clean up for the next one. And right then my dad's voice was heard deep, tired. Emily, enough. I felt a squeeze in my chest because for a second I wanted to give in, but I remembered my mom hanging up on me, Abigail mocking me, Nathan treating my cabin like a park. No, I said. Not anymore. My mom hung up and I kept watching the cameras. The guests were already heading back to their car, uncomfortable, shaking their heads. One of them patted my dad on the shoulder, seemingly out of pity, and then they got in. They left. My family stood outside for about 10 minutes. I saw Abigail trying to calm the kids, who were already crying because they did not understand why they could not go in. I saw my mom pacing back and forth, waving her hands as if planning how to fix it. My dad stood still, quiet, looking down. Finally, they got into their cars and left. Before leaving, Nathan rolled down his window, looked at the camera, and made a rude gesture with his hand, as if that made him right. I closed my laptop, and a relief so massive fell over me that it surprised me, as if I had taken off a backpack I had been carrying for years, but I knew it was not going to stop there. That night my cell phone did not stop. Messages, missed calls, group texts, voice notes. Nathan sent me a huge text saying I was selfish, cold, that you do not treat family like that. Abigail wrote that I was a bad sister, that I ruined our dad's special day. My mom demanded that I apologize and pay for what was lost because of the party. The one that hit me the hardest was my dad's. I am disappointed, Emily. I never thought my daughter would humiliate me like this. I did not answer. I turned off my cell phone and went to sleep early, as if my body was exhausted from so many years of putting up with things. On Monday, I woke up to 17 missed calls and over 40 messages. Almost all of them were the same thing, repeated with different words. That I was the bad guy, that I owed them, that I had to fix it. I deleted many without reading them completely. But on Tuesday morning, something different happened. My friend Lisa tagged me in a Facebook post. It was from my mom. A really long text, the kind you write out of anger and wanting people to pity you. It said that I ruined my dad's birthday, that I refused to open my cabin for them, that I embarrassed them in front of important people, that I did not respect the family, that she was devastated to have raised such a selfish daughter. The comments started piling up. Distant relatives, acquaintances, people I had not seen in years, many saying, "How sad. How dare you? Your mom does not deserve that." Some asked what had actually happened, but my mom only replied, "She has always been like this, dramatic." And that is when I said, "Enough, I am done." I wrote my own post without insults, without extra drama, just facts. I uploaded the pictures of how they left my cabin. I posted screenshots of my mom's messages, where she demanded I clean quickly and buy a $2,000 gift. I also posted Abigail's post where she said that thing about the ones who truly matter, and I wrote, "This is what I found when I arrived at my cabin after my family threw a party without telling me they changed the date. They did not tell me anything. They left everything a total mess and then expected me to clean up for another party the following week. When I refused, they called me selfish. You be the judge." The reaction was immediate. People who had criticized me started deleting comments and changing their tone. Family friends began to say, "That is not fair." People I barely remembered commented, "That is no way to treat someone." My Aunt Susan, who had been at the party, posted, "I did not know they had not told you about the day change. That is awful, sweetie." The post was shared. Private messages of support started pouring in, even some saying, "I always saw them take advantage of you, but I did not want to get involved." On Wednesday afternoon, my mom called me. I was this close to not answering, but curiosity got the best of me. "You need to take that post down right now." She blurted out without a greeting. "Your dad's guests saw it. They are hesitating about continuing to work with him. You are hurting his business." "I did not do that," I replied. "You guys did that with the way you treat me. I just showed what happened." "We treat you well," she insisted, as if she were repeating it to herself. "You are the one who gets sensitive." "Mom," I said, and I felt my voice steady, calm. "You threw a party in my cabin without me. You left me dishes, trash, stains. You hung up on me when I confronted you. Abigail mocked me. Nathan mocked me. And then you demanded I leave everything spotless for the next one and buy a crazy expensive gift. That is treating me well." She stayed quiet for a few seconds, then let out, "We have always been there for you." I laughed, but without feeling. "When? When have you truly been there for me? When I was in the hospital, when I moved, when I got divorced, you were always busy. But when you guys need something, then yes, super fast." "That is not true," she said, and she sounded weaker. "Yes, it is true," I replied. "And you know it." There was a long silence. "I am not going to continue with this," I told her. "I am tired. If you ever want to talk, let it be to genuinely apologize, not to demand things from me. Otherwise, do not reach out to me." I hung up and blocked her number. I also blocked Nathan and Abigail. The following days were weird. I am not going to lie, I felt guilty, not because I thought I was wrong, but because that is how we are raised a lot of times. To endure for the sake of family, to stay quiet to avoid causing problems, to give in because what will people say? It hurt. But I also knew it was necessary. Every time I doubted, I would open the photos, see the disaster, read the "leave the cabin spotless" message, remember the mockery, and it would go away. My posts kept circulating. People commented things like, "That is why you have to set boundaries with family too." And even though I was not interested in becoming a topic of conversation, I realized something. I was not the only one living this. A lot of people saw themselves reflected. 2 weeks later, I decided to go to the cabin for a long weekend. On the way, a nervousness I had not felt before hit me. I thought, what if they went? What if they tried to get in? What if they left me another surprise? I arrived and everything was just as I left it. Clean, calm, mine. I spent 3 days reading, walking near the lake, breathing, doing simple things, without messages demanding things, without guilt-tripping calls, without anyone waiting for me to solve their lives. On Sunday afternoon, while I was packing things to go back, I got a message from an unknown number. It was Nathan. From another phone. "Emily, this has gone too far. Mom is depressed and Dad's business is suffering because of what you did. We have to talk." I stared at the message for a long time. A part of me wanted to reply, to fix it, to go back to how things always were. But I remembered Abigail mocking me when I sent them the pictures. I remembered my mom hanging up on me when I told her I was hurt. I remembered years of feeling used. I deleted the message without replying. It has been about a month since the birthday thing. I have not heard from them directly, although other relatives have told me they are going around saying I had a breakdown, that they are worried about my mental health. Classic, making me look like the crazy one so they do not have to examine what they did. But I am not doing badly. In fact, I am better than I have been in years. I started therapy because setting boundaries is one thing, and carrying the guilt they have planted in you forever is another. And my therapist told me something that stuck with me. That setting boundaries is not a punishment, it is self-care. I have been to the cabin several times since then. Every visit feels more like home and less like a place I have to defend. I have even thought about adopting a dog. Before, I could not bring myself to do it because I was always like, and if the family comes? And if they dump it on me to take care of? And if they criticize me? Now it is my life. My friends have been there for me. Several told me, without beating around the bush, that they never liked how my family treated me, but they did not know how to say it without hurting me. I do not know what is going to happen in the future. Maybe someday my family will truly apologize and we can rebuild something. Maybe not, and I will have to accept that staying away is the healthiest thing. But what I do know is this. I am not going back to being the one who endures everything. I am not going back to being the one who pays and smiles while they use her. I learned that family is not just blood. It is respect, it is affection, it is consideration. And if they cannot give that, then they have no reason to have a place in my life. For now I am focused on myself. I am at peace, I feel free, and my cabin stays clean. That is more than enough for me. Comment. Hey there, I've been thinking about this one a lot since I watched it. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is protect your own peace. I know how hard it can be to set boundaries with people you care about. However, choosing self-respect isn't selfish. It's necessary for your well-being. You deserve relationships built on real kindness and mutual respect. Healing often starts when you decide to stop carrying what isn't yours. Taking responsibility for your own happiness can feel scary at first, but it changes everything. I hope this encourages you to reflect on the connections in your own life. Remember that it's okay to choose calm over chaos, even when it's not easy. You've got this, and I'm right here cheering you on as you build the life you deserve. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.